We probably give it a few more minutes to allow more people from the main session to switch over. And then we will begin shortly. Okay, maybe we start a little slowly. Welcome everybody. This is the information session for the Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering. My name is Jens Schneider. I'm an assistant professor at the College of Science and Engineering. And with me here today is Dr. Bo Wang, who is also an assistant professor, and Dr. Mohammed Abdallah, who is associate professor and will give the presentation. We are also joined by Lana Asfur from the registrar's office. And for those of you who haven't been in the previous session, you have a Q&A box and you can type questions there during the entire session. And we pick the questions up and I will then later post them to Dr. Mohammed. With that, Dr. Mohammed, the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jens, and welcome everyone here. So as Dr. Jens said, this is actually the session about the Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering. As Dr. Jens said here, so my name is, I am Dr. Mohammed Abdallah. I'm an associate professor and the director of the undergrad programs and also the director of this program. I'm within the Division of Information and Computing Technology at the College of Science of Engineering. So this is like what Dr. Jens said. So if you want to post any question, we encourage you all to post relevant questions in the Q&A tab on the lower side of the WebEx screen by clicking these three dots here. And then please make sure that you direct this question to all panelists, myself, Dr. Jens and Dr. Bo, to make sure that all questions are visible to us. And we'll address as many questions as we can during the Q&A session. And if there is a quick question, it can be replied within the chat. In case you have a phone, you're connecting through the phone, then you have the three dots here, if you see. Then all what you need to do is just go to the Q&A session here and just post your question. Okay, so let's talk about the program. So before we talk about this program, so maybe if you attended the first session by Dr. Munir, so actually this program is hosted by the Division of Information and Computing Technology, which is actually a division inside the College of Science of Engineering, which is at Hamad bin Khalifa University. And in our division, actually, we are actually looking at very different hot topics, which are actually very important now to the area of computing technology. So we start from the small sensors, where they are actually hardware sensors to collect data, motion, images, microphone, biosensor, temperature. And then these sensors will, because we have billions of them now, we heard about Internet of Things, they generate a huge amount of data. So this big data and how to analyze it, how to use machine learning, artificial intelligence to handle this kind of data. This is an area that's called big data. And then when we deal with data, definitely we have this issue of security and privacy, how to make your data secure and private all the time. So this is something also we focus on in our division here. And we try all these, and all these areas actually cover too many very important applications, like in health, assistive technologies, transportation, medical diagnosis, Internet of Things, security surveillance, smart grid and smart cities, and this is just a few among many things that here in our ICT division we deal with. So why our division? Actually, our division it's an interdisciplinary curriculum. You will have here in HBQ in our this program, we have a cutting edge education and research training. As you all know, like HBQ is mainly a research intensive university. We have a lot of graduate programs, and as you're going to see, I think Dr. Munir mentioned, our dean, we have like 5 programs here, a graduate, master's, and PhD, and we have this bachelor program. So this kind of education with research is something which we are proud of here at our division. We provide theoretical and applied knowledge using practical tools, methods, leadership, communication, research training. You will have an opportunity for real life experience to industrial project, and maybe also later, if you graduate, you can be placed in a research institute or company. Because actually all of our faculty here, they are dealing with research. They all have research projects, and they work a lot with the industry and every discipline you can imagine of, like in health and networking. So this will allow you to interact with all this, both education and research. We have definitely a state-of-art equipment and research facilities here at HBQ, something which really top-notch all over the world. And definitely this is the most important thing. We have motivated, talented, experienced, and enthusiastic faculty. So our faculty, this is actually a picture of all our faculty members here. We have our division head, Dr. Selim Bozordoum, Dr. Amin, myself, Dr. Adina, and many. All of them, as you can see, have been graduating. They took their PhD from top universities in the US and Europe and Asia, like from University of Washington, Maryland, Queen Mary, Bath, Texas A&M. And also we have even with our partner here with the Qatar Computing Research Institute, we have joint faculty. We have Dr. Jim Jansen, Dr. Halima Bismail, and Dr. Abdul Qadir Bagay. And the most important thing, all these faculty members, they cover whatever area you can imagine in ICT. So this is our ICT. So this is the division. And as you said, we have 5 multidisciplinary academic program. We have the PhD program. Hopefully, inshallah, when you do your bachelor, you can continue doing masters here at HBQ and even PhD. We have 4 master programs, which we actually are very proud that we have our graduate from the Bachelor of Computer Engineering already started joining our master program here. Some of them joined the Master of Science in Data Science Engineering, in Cybersecurity. We have Master of Data Analytics and Health Management, and Master of Information System and Health Management. And finally, which is our Bachelor of Computer Engineering, which I'm going to talk about it now. So what's the computer engineering overview? Okay. So as you all know, like computers are embedded in our daily life and every business. Every device that you are carrying now, whether computer, watches, smart watches, they are a mix between both software and hardware. Okay. So it's very important now for this use of computer for both hardware and software. It's actually very important for cooperation and business. So the computer engineer is actually responsible for developing, designing, testing, and evaluating software and hardware. Every machine you have here, or every computer, they have a lot of hardware and software combined, which they do many things. For example, machine learning or AI software can be built now on top of hardware. So if you want to really design a good hardware, you need to understand the software. And if you need to design that good software, you need to understand the hardware. So they are both combined together. So you cannot, for example, you cannot be an engineer which you only learn hardware without software, or vice versa. So this is the idea of the computer engineering. So if you think about it, if you look at the graph here before we go to, so it's a balance between both a computer science and a double E, which is electrical engineering. So you'll be able to, for example, to learn the hardware part. We are going to microprocessor, VLSI transistors, and you're going to learn mainly the important part in software, like in artificial intelligence, database, graphics, networks, programming. So the balance between both these and these, this is our computer engineering. So our objective here, the focus of this program is to produce globally competitive computer engineering professionals for Qatar region and wider world, to produce computer technology and application, cross-disciplinary aspect of both computer science and electronic engineering, And also, you will be able to bridge the gap between software and hardware. And our curriculum is mainly based to cover both of them and make sure that you have a lot of diverse course selection that will be able for you to become an excellent computer engineer in the future, inshallah. So what's the curriculum? It's a world-class curriculum. It's actually built, as you all know, here in Education City. Okay, we have a lot of international university. So we build our computer engineering in collaboration with Texas A&M and Carnegie Mellon University here at Qatar with HBQ. So the idea here that this is an interdisciplinary program where you are going to take, since Texas A&M is mainly focused on electrical engineering, so you are going to take some basic science courses and some hardware at Texas A&M. And at CMU, are going to take a basic computer programming courses. We're also offering the same courses here at HBQ. And at HBQ, are going to take a multidisciplinary course and the core of computer engineering. We are going to combine both hardware and software. So as you are going to see, like the program actually is like built in a way so that you can combine all the benefits of these three universities, which is something very unique to Education City. You cannot find similar program anywhere in the world, because we are, alhamdulillah, lucky here that we have Education City and have all these in Education City that we can leverage their experience in different areas. So it's a 4-year curriculum structure. And these like the main areas that the course or the curriculum is covering. So initially, like you have this University Core, what they call them general education, general education courses. We're going to talk about check about humanities, social analysis, science, technology, health, lifestyle, communication skills, learn about history, politics. Then there is this engineering fundamentals, where you are going to learn definitely math, physics, and some basic programming and basic electronics. Then you are going to take some courses which are focused on hardware fundamentals, electronics, circuits, microprocessor application, very large scale integrated circuit. And we are going to also take some focus on software, programming, algorithms, software design. You are going to learn about Python, C. And then you are going to combine, then there will be courses that will help you to combine both of them, which is call them system fundamentals, where they will be combine both hardware and software to learn how to build a system, okay, like computer organization, operating system, processor design, computer architecture, embedded system. And then finally, at your senior year, you will have like areas of specialization. So for example, if you want to focus mainly on data artificial intelligence, then you can take courses focus on artificial intelligence. If you have want to focus on security, or focus on security. Want to focus on hardware, or focus on hardware. So we offer all these courses in whatever specialization you are interested in. So the curriculum is actually based on this is a 128 credit full-time program. And the courses that I just mentioned, the areas that I just mentioned now, the University Core Elective, which general education is 18 credits. And they need to cover areas like these three areas mainly. Creative arts, like language, anything related to arts, okay. And the second category would be humanities, social, political science, history. And the last one, business, okay. Like you need to know how to do like business plan, to give you some entrepreneurship skills, which is very important nowadays, to learn students how they become entrepreneurs. Then we have math and science courses, 24 credits. English communication course, which will help you to do soft skills, 6 credit. Core computer engineering courses, 57 credits. Specialized area elective, the one that I mentioned, what you want to specialize in AI or security, 15 credit. And then finally, the final year project, which is senior design project, 8 credits over 2 semesters. So if I give you a quick overview of our study plan. So if you look at this figure, this is actually the study plan of the first and second year. The courses above this dashed line, this is the first year, and the courses below the dashed line is the second year. And then this row will represent the first semester, and this row represent the second semester. And the colors here represented, actually the color here, if it's blue, this means the course will be taken at HBQ. If it's this yellow, this will be taken at Texas A&M. If it's red, this means it can be taken both at Carnegie Mellon or at HBQ. Okay. So for example, in the first semester, you're going to take a CPEG 110, which is 3 credits. It's a principles of computer, very fundamental course about programming, in case you don't know programming. A math course at Texas A&M, design engineering, which is like a course that basics of hardware. English 104, which mainly related to English. And then this is the university core elective, which should be 6 of them. It's the one that they call the general education electives. Then the second semester, you're going to take concepts of math, which is related, also some math course related to computer science. Then math, now Cal 2, are going to take physics, mechanics, and the lab, 3 credits and 2 credits, and then another history elective course. Then starting, and by the way, these small boxes and these lines actually represent the prerequisite. And for example, in order to take Cal 2, you need to pass Cal 1. So this is a prerequisite. In order to take physics and 1 and the lab, you need to take CPEG 110 and calculus 1. Then the second semester, you're going to take another fundamental course of computer science and programming. It's a programming class, math course. Then you're going to take digital system design, it's a hardware class. Then physics, you're going to take electricity and magnetism. Then the lab. Then the second semester of the second year, you're going to take imperative computers, a programming class, another 2 math courses, circuits, and then elective. Third year, this is a programming class, probability, random theory, like a statistics class, electronics, signals and system. English 210 is a technical and business writing. Then you're going to take embedded system design at HBQ, which mainly focus on both hardware and software, digital signal processing, computer architecture, data structure, and university core elective. And then finally, in the senior year, you're going to take these 2 courses, final year project, and then you're going to take, this is an ethics course, which is very important. And then this is our selected area electives, 5 of them, and then the 2 electives. So what are the area electives that we offer at HBQ? As I mentioned, these are examples. We offer 3 tracks. One of them is called data track. Second is system track. The third one is hardware track. So the data track, you're going to be focused only on data. For example, machine learning, database system, scientific visualization. System track will be mainly focused on computer networks, operating system, cybersecurity fundamentals. These are examples of courses that we are offering. Then the hardware track, we are going to take HDL, hardware description language, CMOS, real-time digital signal processing, microprocessor system design. So some of these courses are actually offered at HBQ, and some of them even offered at Texas A&M or at CMU. And these are like an example of the elective courses, the general education courses that I mentioned before. As I said, you need to cover the 3 categories: creative arts, humanities, social and political science, business. And examples, for example, literature, introduction to film analysis, Arabic literature of the Arabic speaking world, music and human experience, introduction to anthropology, intercultural communication, history, foundation of education in a multicultural society, business computing, introduction to accounting, principles of economics, ethical finance. And by the way, these courses can be taken at any of the Education City branch campuses here. And for example, some of these courses are offered at Northwestern, some of them is offered at Virginia Commonwealth, some of them is Georgetown. So this is the nice thing about our program. You can take these courses in whatever branch campus you are here at Education City. Just before I finish, I want to give you some of our student achievements that have been, we are kind of relatively, this is our, maybe we already finished 5 years of this program, already graduated around, by this year, around 20 something, 25 students. And by the way, our intake is not, and we only take between 15 and 20 students every year. And this is our student achievements. For example, this is our students which they developed a mobile app for the 222 World Cup, which will be hosted in Qatar here. And they won the first place in Fikra competition organized by Qatar Development Mag, and won the second place in hackathon organized by Qatar Sports Tech. This is like And also, some of our students also they have joined team with Texas A&M. They won the 3rd place in chemistry e-car world competition. They built the race car fueled only by chemical reaction. For example, also good thing here, this student is one actually she graduated. Sophia, she graduated from our HBQ last, I think, in 2019, and she's currently actually doing her master's at top university in Canada. We also offer student internships and trips. And for example, our students, they always do summer internships at Huawei, and even they won the 1st place in 2019. And even they do international trip where they visit Huawei headquarters in 2018. Finally, this is our the student research. As I said, we are mainly a research intensive university. And the good thing about HBQ, you are going to do, and you will be in touch with too many faculty that are doing a lot of research. So for example, we have like, and there are undergraduate research. So we have like actually our students, they won 3 undergrad research projects funded by Qatar National Research Fund. If you know, this fund is a very prestigious fund at Qatar, and actually is very competitive. These projects were mainly focused on something called fingerprinting software-defined radio. They built a system for smart wearable sensing platform with wireless communication, embedded processing for health monitoring applications related to health. And then another one, which is line tracking smart car with edge-based path recognition and dual PID control structure. And these actually projects actually is under the supervision of our faculty member here, where they submit with the supervision of a faculty member, and they were very successful project. And these are actually also some parts of senior design project, final year projects, which our students have done here at HBQ. I will just go very quickly over them. Like, for example, they developed an artificial intelligence technique to classify stress level based on EEG classification using convolution neural network, which is a part of artificial intelligence, and something called particle swarm optimization. So they were able to use develop an AI system that can detect stress level. This is also another project where the students were able to extend this work based on more data filtering and improve the accuracy of the system. This is also another project where the students actually developed an indoor positioning system, localization, indoor. Like for example, if they develop a mobile app where they can localize a user inside a building where the GPS is not available, using deep learning, and also while maintaining the privacy of the user. Okay, so this was a very important topic, and they already successfully developed the system, developed the app. And also, some projects were focused on hardware. Focused on developing hardware, advanced footwear, and eye for blind and visually impaired people. So they developed this footwear and this eye, which can help impaired people and blind. They actually use sensors and AI to detect obstacles based on ultrasound, distance sensor camera, and AI-based classification. And finally, this is also another project where the students were able this is for Internet of Things, where there are many devices now, and you can very tough to configure them. So they developed a nice application where they can able to configure an IoT device using something called near field communication, NFC, which is actually used now. You have a credit card to, for example, to pay for the credit card. This near field communication using this technology. So they use the same technology to be able to simplify the configuration of IoT devices and systems. So by then I concluded my presentation for the computer engineering program. Next, I'm going to give the floor to Ms. Lana Asfour, our Director of Admission. She will give you a quick overview about the admission requirements. Ms. Lana.
Thank you, Dr. Abdullah. Welcome, everybody. My name is Lana. I work in the Office of Enrollment at Hamad bin Khalifa University, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the process to apply. So just to let you know, all of this information is available on our website, but I'm going to take you through it and then open up the floor for any questions that you have for myself or for Dr. Abdullah or any of the other faculty members. And I will also answer the questions that are coming up here in the Q&A. So if you have any, feel free to type them while I'm speaking. That's totally fine. So just to begin, admission requirements. First, important thing is that you need to have a strong high school record. Okay, so you need to show evidence that you have done well in your high school years, particularly in your final 2 years. So let's say you started out in grade 10, you weren't doing so well, but then you've had a significant improvement over grades 11 and 12. That's fine, but the last 2 years are extremely important. We will look at overall achievement across your courses, but the main focus will be on math and on science. So you need to also demonstrate to us that you have really challenged yourself in these areas and that you have taken the most challenging types of courses that have been available to you at your school. If things were not available, obviously we will take that into context, but it's really important that you have taken math and science for all years of high school and that you have taken challenging courses in those areas. Another requirement is the Ielts or Toefl exam. So you need to make sure that you submit either an Ielts or a Toefl. There are absolutely no exemptions for Ielts and Toefl. Every single one of our applicants has to submit a score. We are accepting the online versions of these exams. So if they are an option to you and you're unable to test in person, that's definitely fine with us. For Ielts, we do need the academic version of the exam. Dr. Abdallah, I've lost the screen. Okay, can we just go back to the previous slide, please? Yeah, perfect, thank you. So the next requirement are standardized tests. So we require the SAT or the ACT exam. It's really important that you do take one of these tests. We are not test optional. We do not have exemptions. If you are living in Qatar and you have not taken SAT or ACT, then please get in touch with us. I will send in the chat our email address. We do have options and can advise you accordingly. So please do get in touch with us if you are living here and you do not have an SAT or ACT score yet. A little bit about the other requirements. Our application is available on the website. The deadline is March 15th for people living in Qatar. So for residents and nationals of Qatar, the deadline is March 15th. Applicants who are living abroad, the deadline was February 1st. So if you're living abroad and you would like to apply and haven't done so already, you will need to wait another year. If you, for example, have not taken a standardized test score, but let's say you're registered for the SAT exam that's happening hopefully in March, do communicate with us. Go ahead and submit your application. Do send us an email. Let us know that you do plan on testing in March. We will require your final transcript, which you will attach as part of the online application. So we need to see your high school years, grades 10, 11, and 12. And of course, if you are currently enrolled in a university, you're in the academic bridge program or any type of foundation program, please make sure you include all of your high school stuff, plus whatever you've been doing now. If you've been taking a gap year or something, please mention that in your CV or in your personal statement and talk to us a little bit about what you've been doing in this gap year. We require 2 letters of recommendation. One from your school counselor. If you do not have a school counselor, it should be from somebody at the school administration, and then one from a math or science teacher. We also require a resume or CV where you should talk about what sorts of extracurricular activities you participate in, especially things which are related to the field of computer engineering. So if you've done any kind of workshops, sessions, personal interests that you have, please mention all of that in the CV. And then we also require a copy of your passport. And if you are living in Qatar, we need a copy of your Qatari ID as well. Could we just move to the last slide, please? Great. So as I mentioned, deadline is March 15th. So you have about a month left to apply. If you have any questions at all of this information is on our website. And please do get in touch with us if there is anything else that you need to know if you have questions about the online application, we're happy to help. Our offices, we don't allow visitors at the moment, but we are available by email to answer any question. I'm gonna, before I conclude, maybe just answer some of the questions that were asked over here. When the first question was, when will decisions be announced? We do not announce all our decisions at the same time, but we will start to announce decisions sometime around the 3rd week of April. And then there was a question, for those who will graduate from high school next year, how should they apply? So if you are graduating from high school in 2022, then you have another year ahead of you. You can start applying as soon as we open the online application, which is usually around November. What I would advise you to do from now until then is really just focus on, getting good grades, studying hard in school. And whenever you have an opportunity to take a standardized test, just take it, because, with the current situation with COVID now, a lot of exams, in this past year have been canceled. So try and register for as many exams as you can, just so that you at least have a score that you can apply with. Is SAT compulsory? Yes, it is. I had already mentioned that. And there are no exemptions. I think that's all the questions that I see on here. Oh, there's one here. When will the academic year start? The academic year starts usually towards the end of August, around the 3rd week of August. Anyone has any other questions for myself or Dr. Abdullah? So I see one here, how to upload ACT in the application when a score recipient is sent to the university. So you should, if you have taken the ACT exam already, you can go back in and request to have it sent to us electronically. But we also ask that you please upload it with your online application. There is a field where you can upload test scores. So you should include it there with your application. Also mention the score in the online application and send it to us electronically, please.
Yolanda, I have some questions here for you. So, yeah, someone is asking whether SAT is mandatory for application.
SAT is mandatory, yes. It is a required.
There's no exemption to that.
There is no exemption. Students who are living in Qatar who do not have a score should get in touch with us, because we do have an option for them to test. So I'm going to just type here in the chat. pku.edu. So people living in Qatar, please get in touch with us if you do not have a score, and if you are applying to HBKU, we can talk to you about an option for standardized testing.
Okay, the next one is she's asking whether he can use the recommendation letters from previous submission. I think he or she applied last year.
That's fine. You would just need to let us know. Just send us an email and let us know so that we can move that to your file. So you can send an email to that same email address.
Another one is will the test be considered after March due to exam cancellations? The standard test.
Standardized test. So there is a SAT exam in March. I know that there is a plan to have for an ACT international exam. We still don't know if it's going to be administered here in Qatar. I'm not sure if we can accept that one. I think it's going to have to be on a case-by-case basis. So whoever is planning to test after March should get in touch with us, because that's quite late. We want to be flexible, so we'll try to be, but I think we have to handle these on a case-by-case basis. So again, if you have registered for an April test, please send us an email and we'll let you know about that.
Okay, another one is, can SAT subject test in math level 2 be considered instead of the high school math?
instead of high school math. I would
yeah,
need a
math
little bit
level
more
2.
information about that. So we do look at SAT2 subject tests. We know a lot of students do take those, and they are informative and help, add information to them. By all means, do submit that score, but it will not replace anything. So it will not replace an SAT, and it will not replace math, year 12 of math. I hope that answers the question. If not, please elaborate and I'll try to answer.
Okay, another one is for British curriculum, the exams got cancelled for the second year. So does that affect he or his application? So what does it mean? The exams got cancelled.
So I think the exams are cancelled. Yeah. So in this case, we're going to have to depend on the information that your school provides about your achievements in the classroom. So you will need to ask your school to provide us as much information as possible about how you've done in school. I'm assuming you're still doing mock exams. So whatever information your school can provide. And that's why it's even more important, that you have at least one SAT or ACT score, so that we have some sort of external measure to assess you by.
Okay, to the next one. Yeah, one student is currently in class 12 and their exams has been postponed to May. So how should he or she submit grade or transcript?
So generally what we do is we look at everything you give us up to the point that so if somebody is, let's say, in year 12, obviously they haven't graduated yet, so they're not going to have all of their results out. And we understand that this year that might be, but it's really important to give us everything you have up to the point at which you're applying. So let's say you submit your application on March 1st, okay, and you don't have any kind of year 12 results whatsoever. Please submit to us year 10, year 11, and whatever else you have, okay? And then just make a note mentioning that, when approximately we should expect to receive the rest of your marks, and then you could submit those to us by email at a later point, or have your school submit them to us. I mean, we have a lot of requirements and regulations and policies, but obviously we're going to be flexible, okay? So if you're a very good student and by March 1st you have no grades for year 12 because your exams have been canceled for something that's absolutely beyond your control, we're not going to dismiss your application. So we will wait for that, but it's really important that you remain in contact with us, in communication with us. You explain this to us, and as soon as your marks are ready, that you do submit them to us.
Okay, the last question I have is what's ACT score or IELTS score required?
What's the minimum score required?
Yes, for the ACT and
Yeah,
IELTS.
so for the IELTS, it's a 6.5, 79 on the Toefl exam. This is the absolute minimum. So generally we would consider a score of 7 in IELTS to be competitive. For ACT, the minimum is 25 or 590 in SAT.
Okay, and that's all the questions I have here.
Dr. Abdallah, did you want to add anything about admissions that I didn't cover or anything?
No, I think it's fine. I think everything was covered. I'm not sure. I think everything is covered.
Okay.
So do you have any questions? Do you have any questions here from the attendees? Any more questions?
I see somebody asked about the minimums. So this is the session for the bachelor's program. So if you have any questions about graduate admissions, you can one of the sessions that are happening concurrently for graduate admissions. Or if you've missed those already, then you can just send an email to them and ask.
But then I see two questions here. Does A-level subjects are taken and considered in the application? And Miss Lana, can you answer this?
Yeah, sure, definitely. If you are doing the A-level exams, then yes, those will be taken into consideration. Again, if you haven't graduated high school yet, you're currently doing A-levels and you're planning to apply, we would, depend on your internal marks and your predictions from your school. But definitely if you're doing A-levels, you're doing math, you're doing a science, you have good predictions, that helps.
And I think there's another question, I'm not sure. What's the Ielts and ACT score?
Yeah, so for Ielts, it's 6.5 is the minimum. 7 is considered a competitive score, and for SAT 590 and ACT 25. I see a question here, Dr. Abdullah. I think you already addressed this, the number of seats, so approximate number of students per year in the program. I think you already addressed this though.
Yes, we said like, anyway, try, yeah, definitely will not exceed 20. This is the maximum, our maximum number. So there is a question here from, I have not taken math in the last 2 years of high school, but scored 760 in SAT math and 740 in SAT subject test. That's kind of a weird case. Miss Lana, can you answer this? So you haven't taken, I'm not sure, Abdullah, did you take any math course at all? No math courses at all?
I don't. Did you want me to reply or wait for?
Yeah, I think you should. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Please, if you can reply this. Yeah, I studied math until grade 11.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's tricky, Did he reply?
Yeah, he said he studied math until grade 11 in Indian school, which is grade 10.
I mean, those are great scores, first of all.
Yes.
But test scores are not a substitute for what you learn in school. The SAT in general, it's an aptitude test, especially the general SAT. Okay, the subject test maybe is more of an applied exam. But you may have scored really well in these tests, but there may be like fundamental areas of maths that you have missed out on because you didn't take math in high school. What I would recommend, just kind of personal advice, and I think maybe the faculty can also weigh in here, is that if you are planning to do engineering, it's really important that you have taken math in high school. So maybe try to identify a place where you could do that kind of externally to make up for what you weren't able to do. That's if you're planning to go into engineering or something in the sciences, because math is it's sort of a building block for the rest of the things that you're going to do when you're in university, whether you study at HBKU or another institution. But I'll also leave it to the faculty to weigh in on this.
I think he just I think he mentioned that he got math in grade 10. So I think I mean, you can apply and we'll check your, in addition to what Ms. Lana said, and just apply and try to do what Ms. Lana said. We'll see your transcript, because it's very tough to decide now. We need to see the whole application. It's not only based on one thing. So I see one other question here. Can we reach out to discuss our admission case and explain our current situation at admissions.undergrad, the email? Is that possible, Ms. Lema?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I can tell you now, just to not waste your time, if you don't have a standardized test and you're living abroad, there's really nothing we can do at this point to help you. If you are planning to take something in March or potentially April, definitely let us know. But if you're going to contact us to ask for an exemption about standardized tests, I can tell you the answer is going to be no. For anything else, yeah, if you have a situation that's causing some sort of delay with your grades or anything like that, we would be happy to hear about that information.
Yeah, another question. What's the other option if SAT exam get canceled in March? From Muhammad Al-Hani.
Is this someone living here? I mean, our test center is scheduled to administer the test. And as far as I know, most of the centers in Qatar are planning to administer the test. So I think right now we have to go with what's planned. If something happens, then, you know, right now we're all living day by day. It's a little bit difficult to plan. So I think we'll go with assuming that it is going to happen. Hopefully it will. I would encourage those of you who haven't tested, or those of you who are, I know one of you at least is not graduating this year, to definitely try and register. I really can't say then what's going to happen, but if you have registered and for some reason the exam does get canceled, just get in touch with us and we will work with you and see what can be done.
Okay. So I don't see any other questions. So please, if you have any question, please write it in the Q&A session.
I'm also going to retype our admission email here. So if anyone has any questions.
So Nof is asking, is there any upcoming ACT tests?
There is, Nof. Can you please send us an email and we can give you more information about that. So if you just write to admissions.ug and someone will get in touch with you.
Okay, any other questions? So I don't see any more questions. Should we wait maybe for 1 more minute? If we don't receive any question, then we may end the session.
Also, sorry. Also, stating the obvious, please copy the email out of the chat, because once the session is over, this chat also goes away.
Yes, for sure. Thank you, Dr. Jans.
I usually mention that because we're all used to this persistence of WhatsApp, where you can check your messages long after the meeting, and this WebEx here is different.
Mm-hmm.
I see a question. Will we get a confirmation email for our SAT and Ielts scores that we have sent to the university? So if you are, that would depend on the test company. You should be able to see where your scores were sent. That's something you would have to see with the test company because we just get the scores. But that's why we also ask that you please upload your test scores with your application, And you also mentioned to us, there's a place in the online application where you can put all the different tests that you've taken with the dates and everything, so that we make sure that in case there's a delay with a test company and we don't receive your official score, that at least we have something in your file that we can look at until we do receive it.
There's,
Oh, I got another question. Yeah.
go ahead, it's for you.
Yeah, how many maximum students admitted to the program this year? As I said, we usually our typical intake 15, but we never exceed 20. Okay, we never exceed 20, but normally we get, yeah, let's say 20 the maximum. Okay, I think I suggest like we don't see any other questions, so I think we may have to end the session. Anyway, if you have any other questions, please feel free to contact us admissions.ug@hbq.edu.qa. This is the email that Ms. Lana has been posting in the chat. And thank you very much for attending this session. And hopefully we can see you here at HBQ next semester or next, where I'll be giving, inshallah, the orientation. We'll see you in the orientation, inshallah. Thank you again for coming, and have a nice night. Wassalamu alaikum.
Thank you.